if I'd have known, you know, what I know now.
But you've been bluffing for years. So
ain't nobody been bluffing. Ain't nobody been bluffing.
Stop. My nephew and that's it.
Ain't nobody been bluffing.
Anyway, how's your love life?
How's yours?
I'm good. I'm pregnant and I'm happy now. So what's up?
I mean, I don't understand why you coming at me like that. Like, what is it that you're basing? No.
He was scared.
He was scared. What was I scared of?
I don't know.
What was I scared of? Tell me what I was scared of.
Look, it wasn't even that he was scared. He just wasn't with it. Like when I first got the wilding out, I was like, oh my gosh, I like this nigga. He quiet and shit. Like he ain't all over the place. Like, you know, he ain't wilding.
Pick it up, pick it and kill it. Whatever that shit is.
That wasn't even out when I first got there. That was a later game.
That was a later game.
Yeah,
sure.
so I tried to throw some game on him. But he was like, oh, don't you have a boyfriend? I'm like, who the fuck be worried about that? You know what I mean?
Me.
Like, who? Yeah, right.
I come from out the ghetto. Niggas will kill you about a just hilarious in my hood. You know what I mean?
But
I don't play them games.
My boyfriend, he wasn't that type of nigga. So that's the
what
thing.
What type of nigga was he?
That's why, yeah, I did. That's why I was going that chick. I'm like, okay, nah, you cool. You know what I'm saying?
He quiet, he low.
Right. But he really, like, funny, like, he down to earth. I'm like, all right, cool. So I told him that I broke up with him. I'm like, say, like, what's up now? He was like, you didn't break up with him. Like, no, you didn't. And I didn't, but I'm like, this nigga gay. Like, how you not?
You see how fucked up that is? You see that fucked up?
Because he wasn't interested,
just
he gotta
because
be
you don't
gay?
want that pussy, I don't want none. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I was like, all right, he just gonna be a brother at this point.
Yeah, because you gotta understand, you know, I gotta be very selective with any woman I deal with because of the perspective that I have and how I live.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Call all YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAAHWABAN. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well, and peace, love, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel scattered abroad. The elect of the nation of Israel scattered abroad. And, you know, this is a quick lesson through the Spirit. I'm going into this broad, just hilarious, as you've seen in the opening clip. All right, how she thought Chico Bean was, you know, with the Rainbow Coalition. Salaki, that's my son in the back. Hey. Salakia. But she thought he was with the Rainbow Coalition because he rejected her, though she had a boyfriend. And in the clip, she said, well, she said in the clip, what that got to do with anything? People don't, you know, care about that. And he said, well, where I'm from, you know, a man will kill you over his woman, you know, which is biblical. All right. Let's go this right quick, quick through the Spirit. This is Proverbs 6 and verse 34. It says, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. Okay, so and she responded, well, my boyfriend wasn't like that, you know. But any man in his right mind, all right, when it comes to his woman, it is like that, man. And see, this is how a lot of men, you know, also get put to death behind a woman. All right. Many men get put to death, okay, behind a woman. All right. Okay. Behind a woman, man. All right, because of her beauty, you know, because of how she looks. All right, she got a nice frame, but she has a husband. And that causes one to commit adultery, all right, by them not taking heed. And you know, the Lord sends that wrath and you get put to death, man. Okay. This is the book of 1 Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 26. Yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred and sinned for women. See, so many have sinned for women, which sin is, we know, 1 John 3 and 4, transgression of the law. All right, so sin for women, you know, transgress the law of the Lord for women. Okay, but this man right here, Chico Bean, which, you know, you've seen him on, you know, the Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon and, you know, other, you know, comedy skits. All right, he maintained his integrity. Okay, and he said he's not doing that. And she went on to call him, you know, G.A. you know what. Okay, because he didn't want to do that. All right. You know, he didn't want to transgress. All right. You know, subconsciously, because Jake knows that's not right. Okay, Jake knows it's not right to sleep with another man's wife. So subconsciously, he didn't want to transgress the law of the Lord. Like, damn, you know, that ain't right. You know, you got a man. Okay. And she said, well, what that got to do with anything? Going to show you how wicked these fucking women is, bro. All right. This is why a lot of women are about to be judged the way they're going to be judged, man. Okay. But, you know, this is, you know, this, you know, all through the spirit. So going back to Sirach 25. All right. Let's start at verse. And on top of that is the so-called black woman. This is why the apostles and the elders tell us, okay, to stay away from these goddamn demogorgons. All right. Hyenas. Sirach 25 and 16, it says, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. All right. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Yeah, you can see it in her face. Okay, and then, you know, she's boasting about, you know, cheating on that man. All right, because that's what she did ultimately. Regardless if they didn't go through with it or not, the intent was there. Your intent, okay, it wasn't to cheat, it was to commit adultery. You know, that's something Esau says, cheating, but it's committing adultery. All right, because there's no such thing as a boyfriend or a girlfriend. When you lay down with a man or you lay down with a woman, okay, and that becomes your partner, all right, that becomes your spouse, all right, your husband or your wife. You see, the scriptures don't speak of anything of boyfriend and girlfriend, all right. It says, so like, let's go back to it. It says, her husband, I'm going to read 17 again, Sirach 25 and 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. All right, and back to verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. And I'm going to skip a verse. It says, stumble not. This is Sirach 25 and 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. You see, though she may have the hips, you know, she may have the curves in the right places. All right, but if that woman got a man, you can't deal with her. Okay, and you know, being a man, you know, you being an Israelite man or any man. All right, but in particular, an Israelite man, you understanding that have to have self-control and say, okay, you know, hey, shit, on to the next one. You know, it's plenty of fish in the sea. You know, me, myself, when I talk to a woman, you know, even the brothers around me, you know, the first thing brothers ask, hey, you got a man? If she say yeah, regardless if she just saying that to brush you off or what, you got to respect that and move on. You see, because she got a man, you can't deal with her. We ain't, all right, cool, whatever. You know, they plenty of fish in the sea. But as she said in this video, who even worries about that? Who cares? Like, no, bro, that's off. All right, that's an off spirit that Esau has promoted all right, to further destroy you, man. All right, let's grab this right quick. Let's grab this right quick, man. This is Proverbs 6 in verse 32. It says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. You see, your soul is destroyed. Your spirit is crushed because you just laid down with another man's wife. You see, and this is the standard in America. This is this is cool. This is promoted. All right, you see it in the movies. You see it in the the rap, okay? The rap, not even just rap. It's in all the music now, all right? Adultery is promoted. Infidelity is promoted, okay? Because the wicked, all right, is in authority, man. And scripture says that, all right? Let's grab this. Is the book of Psalm 12 and 8, okay? Let's get this in the GNT. It says, Psalms chapter 12 and verse 8 in the GNT, it says, the wicked are everywhere, and everyone praises what is evil. Keep us always safe, O Lord, and preserve us from such people. And right, even us, we need to be preserved ourselves, man. The Lord got to keep us from certain things. Okay, in this wicked and forward generation, this wicked world that we live in, bro. I'm going to read that again. It says, the wicked are everywhere. Okay. Why is the wicked everywhere? Because the wicked is in power. Scripture says, let me grab this, right quick through the spirit. This is the book of Sirach 10 and start at verse 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So a wise judge, which would be one who will implement the law, statutes, and commandments, because it produces life. But see, Esau isn't wise. Sirach 10 and verse 2, it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of, it says, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So as the way of the king, so are the people. So the wicked are everywhere because the wicked is in power. All right. Sirach 10 and verse 3, it says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. See? So that's Esau, man. Okay, Esau is in power. All right, that's why the wicked is on every side. Okay, because he's the wicked. Psalm 12 verse 8 again, it says, the wicked are everywhere. This is the GNT. And everyone praises what is evil. Keep us always safe, O Lord, and preserve us from such people. Yeah, we need to be preserved, man. All right, because this is wickedness. Okay, so we in a time now to where this is how wicked the earth has gotten, to the point where you reject a woman for having a boyfriend, you looked at as weird. You weird. No, bitch, you weird. You niggas weird, bro. You see it all the time, on social media. A dude be like, that's your girl? Or, hey, shit. It got to the point now where niggas got the audacity to just walk up. And I seen videos to where men just walk up and grab another man's wife hand while she right in front of him, bro. All right, this is that's why scripture says wickedness hath exceedingly, bro. You couldn't do that in the ancient world. And Salaki, I'm kind of everywhere, but bro, you couldn't walk up and just grab another man's hand, another man's wife hand in the ancient world. All right. You will get put to death on the spot. But see, Esau, his system allows it. All right, that's why you have it, man. You got it to where these skits, a man walk up, that's your girl. Hey, I think you look good. I don't think you should be with him. What, nigga? You goofy? Okay, but see, this is what Esau allows and promotes. Okay, Esau allows and promotes. Hey, Salakia. But like I was saying, Esau allows and promotes adultery. Okay, so let's grab some more scriptures, and Lord willing, you edified. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 29. In verse 16, it says, surely Your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. See, so Esau surely, he turned things upside down, man. The turning of things upside down, bro. This world is ass backwards. Okay? It says, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? And it says, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Right, so the Lord created Esau to be this way. The Lord let Esau turn things upside down because Yahawashi is going to turn things right side up. All right. And, this is why, we in the spirit of Lot. Let's grab this. 2 Peter 2 and verse 7 through 8. I want to see what that says in the NLT. 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 7 through 8. It says, let me start at verse 6. It says, in the NLT, it says, later God condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah and turned them into heaps of ashes. He made them an example of what will happen to ungodly people. And yeah, there was all type of abominations going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodomy, adultery, okay, bestiality, all those things which are allowed in America. All right. You want to be, a Mo? Come to America. You want to be a harlot? Come to America. Okay. All those things are promoted here, man. Through the media, okay. Through the music. All right. No matter where you turn, the video games, no matter where you go, bro, it's promoted. All right. 2 Peter 2 and verse 7, but the Most High, YAHAWASHI, also rescued Lot out of Sodom, because he was a righteous man who was sick of the shameful immorality of the wicked people around him. All right, let's get that word immorality in the etymology. All right, he was sick of the shameful immorality. All right, let's get that word. It says not opposite of morality. Let's look it up in the Free Dictionary. It says the state or quality of being immoral, wickedness. He was sick of the wickedness, profoundly immoral and wicked. Okay? It says it was wicked. All right? It says, yes, verse 8. Yes, Lot was a righteous man who was tormented in his soul by the wickedness he saw and heard day after day. So Lot was in the midst, okay, of baby Babylon. Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, Babylon wasn't around during that time. All right, but the reason I say baby Babylon is because America has far exceeded the works of Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, but it was still wicked for that time. It was wicked, man. But Scripture says, in the latter times, evil shall increase, wickedness shall increase. Let me grab that scripture right quick, man, just to prove the point. Whew, this is scary. Okay. I can't find it. Try to find it right quick. I believe it's in Esdras. Yeah. I think it's it right here. Yep. 2nd Esdras 5 and verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased. All right, what's iniquity? Sin upon sin. Above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. So New things are being done. All right, new things are being done, man. Okay, you can just imagine. All right, the wickedness, you know. And now this is about just hilarious, but ultimately it's the system. The system has to go. It has to be a new system implemented in the earth, man. Because this isn't just her. This is the mentality of all these women and all these men. All right, that's why the Lord said it. You wicked and adulterous generation. All right, this is what Jake do, bro. They don't care. All right, who cares about that? Well, the Lord cares. All right. And you're going to be held accountable for doing such things. All right, but this is a point, man. This is why judgment is going to go out the way it's going to go out. I just want to make a quick point through the spirit. But I pray this lesson was edifying. We need deliverance. All right, and we ultimately need this place to be overthrown, man, because that's crazy. All right, so this is how these women look at us, brothers, when we say, nah, I can't deal with you because you got a man. Some women respect it. Some women say, okay, yeah, because it's an anomaly. I had a counselor. You got a man? Okay, I can't talk to you now. I walk away. Oh yeah, thank you. It's respectable. All right, it's honorable because that's not a normal thing in the earth to where you tell a woman, nah, I can't deal with you because you got a man and you walk away. That takes integrity, man. But hey, through the spirit, I pray this is edifying. I'm going to close out the way I opened up by giving all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, SHAMAIWAN, BAHASHAM, YAHAWADAH, BAHASHAM, Shalom.
If I'd have known, what I know now.
But you've been bluffing for years. So
ain't nobody been bluffing. Ain't nobody been bluffing.
Stop. My nephew and that's it.
Ain't nobody been bluffing.
Anyway, how's your love life?
How's yours?
I'm good. I'm pregnant and I'm happy now. So what's up?
I mean, I don't understand why you coming at me like that. Like, what is it that you're basing? No.
He was scared.
He was scared. What was I scared of?
I don't know.
What was I scared of? Tell me what I was scared of.
Look, it wasn't even that he was scared. He just wasn't with it. Look, when I first got the wilding out, I was like, oh my gosh, I like this nigga. He quiet and shit. Like, he ain't all over the place. Like, he ain't wilding.
Pick it up, pick it and kill it. Whatever that shit is.
That wasn't even out when I first got there. That was a later game.
That was a later game.
Yeah,
sure.
So I tried to throw some game on him. But he was like, oh, don't you have a boyfriend? I'm like, who the fuck be worried about that? You know what I mean?
Me.
Like, who? Yeah, right.
I come from out the ghetto. Niggas will kill you about a just hilarious in my hood. You know what I mean?
But
I don't play them games.
My boyfriend, he wasn't that type of nigga. So that's the
what
thing.
What type of nigga was he?
That's why, yeah, I did. That's why I was going that chick. I'm like, okay, nah, you cool. You know what I'm saying?
He quiet, he low.
Right. But he really, like, funny, like, he down to earth. I'm like, all right, cool. So I told him that I broke up with him. I'm like, said, like, what's up now? He was like, you didn't break up with him. Like, no, you didn't. And I didn't, but I'm like, this nigga gay. Like, how you not?
You see how fucked up that is? You see that fucked up?
Because he wasn't interested,
just
he gotta
because
be
you don't
gay?
want that pussy, I don't want none. That's crazy.
That's
crazy. That's crazy.
I was like, all right, he just gonna be a brother at this point.
Yeah, because you gotta understand, I gotta be very selective with any woman I deal with because of the perspective that I have and how I live.